You can build almost anything out of Lego. I mean, almost anything. And today I'm going to be testing that statement by creating a completely functional, walking mechanical sculpture of a 2-story house. So, you've probably seen a lot of these walking houses on YouTube before, but this is 100% my own take. Where I came up with the idea was I made this really sad crab walking mechanism, which kind of morphed into this 2-legged creature, which then I put a house on top of because I wanted to build a house. And also I should mention that my mechanism was very, very similar to a Jason Allman mechanism, so I don't want to plagiarize here, so I'm just going to mention it in the video. That's alright, Jason. So I started by building this base with some greenery on it. It's pretty simple, but it doesn't distract from the actual build. I also put these 2 clear pillars to support the build on top of that base, as well as a little bit of structure for not only the walking mechanism, but the house itself. So, I'm aware this is probably one of the ugliest parts of the build, but it's really necessary to hold up the structure and the legs. So it's pretty important to the overall design. And I tried to make it look good by putting some nice armor on the legs to give it that medieval-y vibe I wanted. I'd say I like the legs. The structure may not look good, but the legs kind of hide that and make it a lot better. And in my opinion, the legs really add something to the entire build. And if it was just a house, I don't know if you'd be watching this video. So as you can see, I'm working on the beginnings of my structure, giving that kind of medieval Tudor building kind of vibe. I don't even know exactly what a Tudor building is, but I think this is it, with the beams for structure, and also probably just aesthetics for Lego builders. And I'm also adding the tooth pieces at the bottom to add some more, flair, you know what I mean? Talking about flair, I also have this moon design that almost kind of looks like an outhouse from, Shrek or something. But it's fine, It looks pretty good, and I think it adds something to the build itself, which you don't really get in a lot of Lego builds. And since this is clean and simple architecture, I'm just going to do the same thing on the right side of the build, or the left side, depending on which way you're looking at it. But what I'm not going to do the same is this crane going out of the back of the build, which I think just adds some more character to it, and again adds another iconic detail to it, just like the moon. And now we're already on our second story, where I'm adding some flower boxes to add that greenery, you see at the bottom, but I want it to carry up the top of the build as well. And we're also going to add this tower at the top to add a bit more life and character to the build, because it's kind of slanted to one side, which I think is actually a pretty nice effect for building a wizard type aesthetic build. And we're also going to add some more whimsical features with these gears or something like that. So since most of the details on this floor are complete, I can start adding some tiles on the top and the sides of the second floor, and then we can move on to the top floor, which actually has this really neat tower that's pretty simple, but it gives it a nice kind of castle-y vibe. It's not really realistic to have stone built on top of concrete and wood, but this is just kind of a fantasy build. Now we're going to add on the roof tiles, and the build is pretty much complete.